Do you enjoy the hustle and the work within your business? We're going to talk about productivity later in the month, but today I wanted to kick 2024 off with talking about strategic focus and strategic focus that makes sense for you and your business. I had new connection recently asked me like what I was most excited about, business or personal. And my answer to that question really sparked this episode. So here we go. Welcome back to the Your Money, Your Life podcast. I'm your host, Aimee Cerka. We are talking about strategic focus that makes sense for you within your business today. And like I was saying, this episode is really sparked by a question I got recently by a new connection, and we'll see what their intent is behind this because if you're anything like I am, you get the pitches all the time in the DMs that are unsolicited. Like, jury's still out on this one. But the question she asked me was, what was I most excited about? Business or personal? And my answer, honestly, was both because I've worked really hard on having a business that I love. And this has really been talked about this several times with different like colleagues this month, but building a business that I really enjoy and working on some of those elements where, I was trying to control I was trying to control the outcome, and that's just not feasible. So working on some of those things, like I can truly say that, I have the business that I love, and building a business that I don't quote need a break from, but also building a business that I can take a break from when I want to. And of course, like it's not perfect by any stretch of any means, but I want to talk about some of the pillars within my business and some of the shifts that we've made today as we're starting 2024 to help you do the same thing because I really want you to be able to have this as well and like just continue to grow and my inbox is always open if you have like comments like hey this would be helpful. I'm always open to hear. So let's get to this. It really boils down to three main things. And this concept, I feel like is taught by a couple of people for sure. Sophia Para comes to mind. I always recommend her stuff. If you see any of her like sales pages for her go-to coach club, which I'm in, like there's testimonials everywhere because I love so much of the way that she does social media. But she talks about like there's three pillars. I've heard James Wedmore talk about it, the TLC, traffic leads customers. And it's kind of the same type thing. There we go. We can talk. So the first thing that I was looking at that I've set up to make sure that I'm being strategic and creating that joyful hustle in my business was growth. So, I got four kids at home. We're homeschooling. I've got little ones. I don't have a ton of time. So I'm not doing as many of those networking connection calls that you get. They're like, hey, mostly it's on LinkedIn, but it's like, hey, you want to get on a connection call? Yeah, like sure. I mean, as an introvert, that's already like, no, no, thank you. But I would make myself do it because we got to take the action, right? But seeing the return on those, what is the difference? So I don't do as many. I still have like some slots that I leave open for like the really motivated ones that I feel like we're just going to jive really well with because there has been return on those connection calls. But looking at overall value for my time, that's not really a growth metric that's successful for me. Okay. But one that is successful for me and one that I continue to enjoy doing is guesting on other people's podcasts. So as a side note, if you know somebody that like, hey, we should be a perfect fit, please let me know because I'm always looking to hear what podcast you're listening to and love. And I appreciate that you're here. So doing more of that because it's leverage time as well. I mean, first of all, like I love to do this. I love to talk um like about my topics. There we go. Talking in general about what I'm passionate about. There we go. We're getting there. The week after Christmas recording is not I don't know, as streamlined, but podcast guesting. We're doing more of those things, doing more of the collaborations, more of, the bundles. I've participated in several like where you can get access to my courses where you pay like $97, whatever it is, and you get like 20 different courses and having people in there that are leveraging. It's more people, more eyeballs on me in a leverage fashion. And the key there is really, I think, making sure that you're talking to the right people. I'm not even necessarily as worried about like big audience sizes because I feel like that is an overrated vanity metric. We can talk about that another day if you'd like. But who are the people that are in that audience? Okay, so that's growth. The second thing is nurture. The podcast. I love having the podcast. I love listening to podcasts. I love talking for the podcast. We also do YouTube as well. There's also the Cash Clarity now is the podcast version of the short videos. So I do 2 a week. I double the amount of content that we create each month or each week, but it leverages because we use that for the email marketing, for the social content. Everything is cohesive, works together. But the podcast and YouTube, those are the main pieces of content and the main way that I show up consistently so that you get to hear from me and know me better. Because if you're not nurturing your people, also email. I email my list multiple times a week. But if you're not consistent, like telling people like, hey, I'm still here. It's a busy world. They forget. Okay. Social media. I have been more consistent with showing up. I don't pressure myself to post every day. There's not a return there. This is actually something Sophia talks about. I should probably just link to her podcast. I'll put a link in the show notes to the podcast episode that I did on her show, and then you can check out her podcast in general because it's great. But we don't have to post every day. This is not posting on social media, notice, is not a growth tactic. It's a nurture tactic. My podcast, not a growth tactic. It's a nurture tactic. Yes, other people find me on the podcast and my download numbers continue to grow, as well as YouTube views, subscribers, those things. But it's designed to show and create that nurture and that know, like, and trust and building the authority and trust and credibility and all those things with people that already know me. Okay, so nurture. Podcast, YouTube, social, email. Sales. What am I doing with sales to make sure that I'm focusing on the needle movers and the things that actually create joy for me? I'm not really doing sales calls. I still have a link. It's on my website. There is a couple places that you could probably find it still. And if you're really determined, sure, we'll get on a call. I hate getting on sales calls. Like as a consumer, I don't want to do that. I want to be able to have the information, have a conversation either over email, Instagram DMs, something, but without that high pressure. And I know my audience feels the same. Plus, you got kids running around. Like it's kind of hard to get on a phone call. There's also, even within the academy, the link now doesn't go to the sales calls, it goes to Voxer, and we can Vox back and forth. If you haven't used Voxer before, it's like a walkie-talkie app. It's the one that I use with my clients, but we can voice chat back and forth within Voxer because that is much more sustainable, much more feasible for me than doing sales calls. So I think we got it. Okay. What we talked about, the 3 like pillars, how I identified needle movers and creating that joyful hustle strategically in my business. We talked about growth with podcast guesting, not doing as many connection calls. We talked about nurturing the podcast here, YouTube, emails, social media. Stories is like its own thing there because it's a different, Sophia has a great episode about that too. But the purpose of stories and the purpose of your social media feed are 2 different things. And then sales, not doing as many sales calls. I have a lot of evergreen stuff set up. I also have low ticket to help people get like work with me, see like coaching. What is it like to work with me? Because that's really where I know you see the biggest difference. So I need to be able to expose you to that. All right, that's what I've got. Next episode on Thursday, I'm going to answer a question. How do you do the work when you don't feel like it? So make sure you stay tuned for that. Subscribe, all the things. I got to run because I am super hungry and totally forgot to eat lunch. Do you ever do that? All right, maybe I'm the only one. We'll see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to the Your Money, Your Life podcast. Wondering what's next? When you're ready, there are different levels of support that you can use on the path to creating unstoppable finances and your unstoppable life. After all, your finances are unique and your support should be too. Ultimately, we'll create a customized plan to ditch financial struggle for good that works for you, your goals, your priorities, your life. Go to workwithaimee.com to get started with one of our most popular programs, or you can book a Q&A call with me and we'll figure out what your next step should be.